it's like one of them things where it's like now you have to come up with things like, okay, in what conceivable universe could the Cavs beat them? Like, what do they have to do to beat them in game 2?
Because the answer is you take 45 threes and pray you make 25.
You know what?
Which is what Miami did. That's how Miami beat them.
The Cavs, if you look at the playoffs, they've played 8 games, right? Donovan Mitchell has mostly played, like last few games, he's played out of his mind.
He's got 30-plus in 6 straight playoffs.
Yeah, right. So he's mostly played great. He didn't play great in game 2 or 3, I think, or...
He played good first quarter in game 2, then wasn't great. Then game 3 was bad. Since game 3, he's been really good.
Right. So, but he's mostly been great. Jared Allen was playing great before he got hurt. Has anybody else on the Cavs had a single great game?
No.
For their standard?
Yeah, for their standard.
Isaac Okoro played pretty damn good last night for his standard.
But it was all in the first quarter.
And
then he was gone.
I'm just saying, like, he's the only other guy last night in particular.
Okay.
You could look at and say, if we
great
get
game,
this level.
he was solid.
He was solid, okay.
Like, Evan Mobley has not had one great game.
No.
Darius Garland has not had one. He had one great quarter.
Yeah,
His
great
first
quarter.
3 quarters of game 6 were very good. But then he had a collapse in the 4th, and that overshadows what he did in the first 3.
I mean,
he was good in the first 2
nobody on the
game.
bench has done much of anything, and you expect that on the road, but at
LeVert
home.
had a good game 7.
LeVert played decent in stretches last night, but I think to me, what we know what JB is. We get on JB a lot, but I'm gonna tell you what, Kobe Altman. Listen, you sat here and told us. Every time George Niang and Max Strus pull up and miss a jump shot, I'm looking dead in your face.
Has George Niang hit a 3-pointer the entire playoffs?
Yeah, he's 2 for. I did the numbers this morning.
He's 2?
3 for 17 or something like that.
If that was what you brought in, they said shooting, and I'm gonna go back to McNuggets. Let me go. Shout out to you. You know, G. Bush got a mind like an elephant. Only when it don't involve him, calling me because I don't answer my phone. But that wasn't my fault either. I got a story to tell later. McNuggets, you said this, just crazy. You said this when they got Strus. You said low key. If you look at throughout his career and you take a certain couple of the season that he shot out of his mind, he is a average, at best, 3-point shooter when we got him. He said that, and I said, whoa. He said, yeah, he shot good in the playoffs, and he shot out of his mind last year. But guess what? When you take that year out, you traditionally look at what he's done in the league as far as shooting. He is not.
And then he reverted back to that. To being like, he's okay.
Yeah, he's not Korver.
Niang is useless.
Right, like he's not. And
your boy Sam Merrill's been completely useless.
Oh, yeah. He was bad yesterday.
Hey, listen.
He was bad yesterday.
Sam Merrill, man, he might have to go to J.J. Redick's School of Shooting. Yeah. He's shooting. And when he comes in, the problem is they got a lot of one-trick ponies. When Niang comes in, if he's not shooting the ball well, guess what? He's a liability defensively and on the rebounding. If you got Sam Merrill, He's automatically in the mix when the pick and roll if he ain't hitting no shots. And then Strus, if he's not hitting shots, I mean, you got a starting lineup with 3 non-scorers. Okoro, Strus.
And back to the point earlier about Boston, getting good looks versus Cleveland having to working, extremely difficult to get good looks. Boston has 5 guys who can score on the court at all times.
Yeah.
And 4.5 if you want to say Horford's a half. I'll give him a half. But they have
the dude
4.
Came off the bench? What's his name?
Peyton Pritchard.
Pritchard, he hit that 3 at the buzzer. Fournette can play.
I made a graphic, Pritchard versus Garland.
Who's there? What's the guy? The other guy who's there?
Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett.
Same guy, basically.
Yeah, tell me.
Sam Hauser's the same as Sam Merrill.
We're going to call him the Backstreet Boys.
The difference is Sam Hauser's 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah. Their faces are similar.
White shooters,
all white guys kind of look alike.
But the difference is, like, they have at all times on the court. I was trying to go that. But, yeah, Pritchard outplayed DG last night. You can't lose that battle. If your backup point guard's losing your second.
And he played with such confidence. When he hit that
incredible.
3.
Yeah, he's.
Hey, when somebody.
And we didn't even mention Drew Holiday. Like, he's such a good player.
Yeah.
Hey,
the Cavs players, to your point, G, the Celtics have a bunch of players that do everything.
Yeah.
Like, can contribute in multiple ways. How many, like, besides Donovan, how many players on the Cavs can do multiple things?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
They have 4.5 guys on the court at all times who are a threat. In the Cavs' best offensive lineup, take positions out, put their 5 best offensive players, and I'm going to ask you and G. How many legit offensive threats with 4 in the shot clock, if they have the ball, you feel good about getting a shot?
Man,
Only Donovan. That's it. One.
It's Donovan and surprisingly Karis LeVert because he's just unorthodox.
It's 1 to 2.5, depending on how confident you are in certain players. Yeah.
And after that,
and that's the difference. That's the difference. You have 5 guys spread out, all paying attention to not only their guy but the guy with the ball.
Yeah.
As opposed to on the other side, it's him in the corner. All right, I'm putting 2 feet in the paint. It's going to be a significantly harder drive. It's a roster flaw.
I saw this, and I saw this in the game, and then I immediately got sick a little bit. I just started laughing because I was like, man, I can't even be mad. They can swing the ball, right? When the Cavs is running plays, if Donovan Mitchell runs a pick and roll and gives it up, he's going right back to the guy like, give it back to me so that we can reset. I saw the Celtics run pick and roll with Derek White. I've seen them running with Drew Holiday. I've seen them then reverse the ball and then run pick and roll on the backside with Brown or Tatum.
Yeah.
Either or. That's 4 dudes that can initiate the pick and roll. So now, yes, you did a good job rotating off that pick and roll, but when we swing weak side, guess what? We said we got another pick and roll you can come with.
I just sent Ant a play, and when you get this in tag board, you can throw it on.
They're such a good fundamentally sound team.
And unselfish.
They do everything well. They're unselfish.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like, and like I said, Tatum had a terrible game, but he had a terrible shooting game.
For his standard, that was a bad Jason Tatum game.
I mean.
And they still scored 120.
It's crazy. And Horford didn't do anything. And
play this play. You talk about the movement and the ability to run different things. I mean, this is the difference in Boston and Cleveland's offense.
This is when they missed all those threes and kept getting the rebound.
Tatum to Horford to Brown. Brown drives, kicks. Check all the rotation. It ends up being a wide open 3 for a guy in Drew Holiday. And
they keep moving it to the best shot.
But that's 3 different guys initiating some sort of action. Horford makes a good pass out. Brown drives, kicks. Tatum patient. It just
the Cavs offense is dribble, and then let Donovan make a miraculous play at the end. You know, I thought one of the plays that summed us up, and I want to talk about the rebounding. But you got something you want to read first?
No, we can get into the rebounding first.
Okay.
So they lost by 17 in the rebound.
The Cavs got killed on the glass. What summed up the Cavs' ability on the glass was that one possession where I think Boston missed 3 threes in a row and kept getting the rebound. Like, it's hard to get your own rebound on a 3. Like, they did that 3 times in a row and then eventually got fouled. And then there was one point where the Celtics missed a free throw, got their own rebound, put it back. I mean, they were killing the Cavs on the glass.
Because they have very good rebounders at the guard positions. Drew Holiday is big. You have to box him out. Darius Garland does not block people out. He didn't block out anybody in the Orlando series.
Yeah.
You got him. Derek White will crash the boards.
Yeah.
And they will collapse and block shots too. These are big type guards. And when you have – what makes it difficult is you got Drew Holiday, who's one of the best defenders on the ball. You got 3 long wing guys like Jaylen Brown and Tatum that are long and then Horford is a great team defender. Porzingis is a guy that can block shots. So what you end up having is like all these guys that can switch off and move and play in space. And it just that's why it just seems like when the Cavs are trying to do something or trying to get a shot, it's like they're running into brick walls everywhere they look. It's just part of it. It's just, and here's the thing too. I know people want to say that the Browns, or excuse me, I'm saying the Cavs. You know, hey, you know, we've made it good. There's only a few teams left. We made it to the semis. We knew we weren't gonna be here. What I like to pose to you guys is this: what is your ultimate goal? Is your ultimate goal that you just want to see the Cavs make the playoffs year in, year out, maybe win a series, maybe at best win another series?
Right.
Or do you watch this team that want to win a championship? Because if you want to win a championship, you should be downloading this stuff and saying when the offseason comes, instead of saying we don't need that guy or I don't like that guy or we good, just run it back. Remember the feeling when guys are knocking down open shots and you're undermanned.
You know what I'm afraid they're going to do, and again, this is more of an off-season conversation, but I'm worried that they're going to change coaches and then run it back with the players.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
I hope they don't, but I'm worried that they might. They say, well, we can win with this group. We just got to have a different coach.
Listen, I'm down. Listen, it's just like, what's the name? Like, this is standard. This is Moody's right here. I'm downgrading your credit score.
Yeah.
Like, Evan Mobley is not
But here's the problem. Where is Evan Mobley and Darius Garland's trade value right now?
Mobley still has more.
Mobley still has
But
some.
it's got to be down from where it was.
Bill Simmons does his trade value column,
right.
and he had Mobley in like the 20s.
When was that? In the middle of the season?
This year.
It's got to be lower now.
Well, he does it once a year. Yeah. Last year he was in the teens, so he's sliding back.
Right, I bet you right now he's in the 30s.
He was in a group with a bunch of players in the same young, not fully up to potential yet.
Either Donovan or Darius is gone after this year. Has to be.
Yeah, I don't think that pairing works the way the Cavs
over.
needed to.
You got to trade that. If Donovan's willing to stay, you trade Darius. If he's not, you trade Donovan. That's that simple.
And I'm with you, McNuggets. Like I learned my lesson with small quarterbacks. If you under 6'4", if you under about 6 foot, if you 6, no, I'm not drafting you. I'm sorry, I done got burned too many times.
The crazy part, and I'll let you get to read 1 sec. But when you play two small guards, your advantage in theory is supposed to be. These guys are smaller to make it to the level they're at. They are so skilled, so talented, and so dangerous in the open court that it makes up for what they're giving up on defense, in switches, and all that. And Donovan's living up to his end of the bargain.
Right.
And when DG is not being aggressive, not shooting, and not looking to create for others, he's just a disadvantage on the court in the big picture.
That's right.
You get no advantage of, and the same issue with the two bigs.
Yeah.
You can play two bigs together to be a great rebounding unit, to make everything more difficult for the other team. The issue is they don't shoot, so it's just clogged. It makes everything else difficult on offense, and they're not a great rebounding team.
That's two.
Rebounding.
You got 2 and 2.
Rebounding is not just the bigs. It's more important that your guards rebound to be a good overall rebounding team. Yeah. And when you look at the wings, it's not even the guards. Strus, Okoro, Dean Wade. Dean Wade's a pretty good rebounder. I take that back. Dean Wade's actually a good rebounder. Niang, those guys don't rebound. Tatum and Brown, two of the best rebounding wings in basketball. Like, that's more the disadvantage.
The Cavs are going to not only do they have to fire JB, they have to fire Kobe Altman, in my opinion, and they got to blow up the team and change it around. We'll see. We'll look ahead to Game 2 in a second, but first of all, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, before we get into our Game 2 adjustments, guys, if you want more in-depth film breakdown, Mike and Jason are going to be doing an Ultimate Cavs tonight. Last night, like it says, on Tuesday. So go check out Mike's film breakdown. He's got about 2 more cuts to go through, right, Mike?
Yeah, we're going to do look at what the Cavs got offensively, look at how they can try and get Evan Mobley more involved early. Scoring 10 points in the fourth quarter is great, unless you're down by 30, which they were last night, so they have to find a way to get in early. And we'll look at some defensive things they can switch up to hopefully try and slow down Boston.
If you had to bet your house, Cavs lose by 30 or win Game 2, you got to bet your house.
They lost by 25, and the Celtics didn't play that well.
I'm going to listen, bet my crib. It's still 30.
Yeah.
30.
What adjustments are you making for Game 2? I mean, what can you do?
You can cough in all the Celtics pregame meals and hope they get sick.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
You can put laxatives in their water and hope Tatum has the runs pregame.
That could be helpful.
You can try. Boston went to this set on multiple occasions yesterday where they cleared out the entire right side of the court for Derek White or Drew Holiday and used Tatum as the screener. Yeah. And that caused chaos for the Cavs defensively. They had no idea how to guard it. And then we actually have to play if you want to play the one play. Fixing something like this would be where I'd start. When Tatum's the screener, you have to make a decision. The Cavs were in no man's land trying to stop Tatum as the primary screener. It allowed Derek White to get downhill on Darius Garland. That is not a situation the Cavs are going to win. Derek White is too big, too strong, too physical, and he's playing like Steph Curry. Not this one, Ant. Unless I sent the wrong video. You can just drop it then. I must have sent the wrong video. But they have to do a better job of running Boston off the three-point line and making Boston, if they're going to shoot, take 2s, not 3s.
Do you guys know, you're all probably too young except for maybe G. Do you know who Jeff Gillooly is? Do you remember Jeff Gillooly?
That's not a real name.
That is a real name.
I remember Gino Guidugli, quarterback from Cincinnati.
Not Gino Guidugli.
Is that his cousin?
I know.
So, in fact, to
Dino
prove it
Buffuli.
Who's that?
I don't know.
He doesn't exist.
I don't even Gillooly. I don't even remember how to spell it. Here we go. Jeff Gillooly. See, he's a real guy. There's Jeff Gillooly.
Okay.
All right. Jeff Gillooly was, I can't remember if he was the boyfriend or of Tanya Harding.
Tanya Harding.
Yes. So Tanya Harding
came through with that
wanted to be on the women's figure skating team, And she was always falling behind this woman named Nancy Kerrigan, who was like
the whole Tanya Harding situation, broke her kneecaps.
Jeff Gillooly was the one that hit Tanya Harding, or hit Kerrigan. That's the Cavs' only chance. They need to have somebody take a baseball bat. Please don't do this, obviously, for real. Nobody should do this. But that's their only hope. That's how bad things are.
To who?
To Tatum or Brown.
Hell, do it to Derek White.
Derek White.
That dude's Steph Curry in a ball cap.
Here's your problem.
Yeah.
They got lucky because Porzingis ain't out, who, by the way, is a 20-point scorer. Drew Holiday didn't really shoot the ball that well.
Yeah.
And
Neither did Horford.
Neither did Horford.
Yeah.
Tatum didn't show up. But Brown and White got 30 apiece, and
they were unstoppable.
And two bench dudes got significant points. So when you got that much firepower, they can afford to put it in layman's terms.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, if you stopped Kyrie, you still had Kevin Love. You stopped Kevin Love and Kyrie, LeBron could get 70. Like pick
your poison.
It's pick what you got to do, and think about it. These guys are hitting 30. We got our best guys getting 14 and 17. Even if that's an efficient 14 and 17.
And they're all late.
And by the way, G, and I know with certainty you're going to agree with this, the Cavs' fourth best player offensively was J.R. Smith, right?
Yes.
Okay. Outside of Donovan, if I need a basket, I'm taking J.R. Smith
right now
by a mile over anybody else but Donovan on this team. Like anybody else.
Like right now.
And it's not even close.
It's hard to argue.
And he was the fourth option.
It's hard to argue.
The way that Delly played in the finals, I take Delly over DG.
Delly was going to be my pick for the
I would.
Like
at least he's a relentless defender.
This dude almost died.
Yeah.
He was just like, no. He played with such abandon. Like it was like, and that's the thing. You say how you win this game? Well, maybe turn on some emotion. Stop being robots. Quit being too cool for school. Y'all look like y'all too good to rough the game up. This game got to be. That was a Celtics pretty game. You got to have a nasty, ugly game where it's chippy, where we got guys getting fouled. I don't care if we got to get a couple flagrants. And on top of that, you got to be able. Like the defensive intensity that I'm seeing in these, like I watched New York in
that game.
That was
awesome.
different level of basketball.
That game was so good.
Different level of basketball.
It's levels to this thing.
That felt like Charles Oakley and Anthony Davis.
Man, I'm watching.
Not Anthony Davis. What's his name? Dale Davis.
I was watching this. I'm like, man, shot for shot, play for play.
You weren't here yesterday, G. We talked about the Minnesota game too, where they completely obliterated Denver for the second straight game in Denver. And I talked about that being the level of confidence the Cavs needed to be able to walk into a road environment knowing you belong. And outside of Donovan, it doesn't feel like anyone thinks they belong on this stage. And that's an issue. That's an issue.
Mike, you're doing a great job analyzing this as you know the sport and you're analyzing it and you're like a network guy trying to get people to watch the show still. Here's the reality, and we all know it. The Cavs have zero chance of winning this series.
I agree.
They have no chance. I mean, the only reason you give them a chance to win a game is because teams just win games at home sometimes. Yeah. It happens. These teams are not in the same stratosphere.
I never said they were.
The Celtics are head and shoulders the best team in the league, and the Cavs are head and shoulders the worst team left playing. Not even close.
Yeah.
Who's worse?
If you want to make the case for Indiana, but that's it. It's the only one you can even try to make
Indiana
the case for.
beat New York, though.
No, they did.
They didn't beat New York.
Oh, they lost that game.
Game.
That's right. They were ahead.
I'm just saying, it's the only one you can make a case for.
The Indiana team that I've been watching, way better than the Cavs.
In this series in particular, Jared Allen would make a bit of a difference. Now, not enough of a difference to make this from 5 games to 6 games, 6 games to 7 games. But just from a defensive standpoint, we saw how many open driving lanes Boston had last night. At least Jared Allen gives you another body to try and slow that down.
Yeah.
But I heard again last night that I don't think he's anywhere close to really.
When I heard, and you know what, I think too, and shout out to Jared Allen. I think the Cavs did him a disservice.
A giant. We talked about it yesterday. A giant disservice.
Because y'all making him look a certain type way. Don't comment on the injury, right? Obviously the dude is way more hurt than what y'all letting on. So when you say, oh, it's ribs, he's day-to-day, he coming back, people expecting it, and then he's out again. Listen, the dude can't even sleep. I'm never one person to say somebody's faking an injury because he played all year He played well. He was the only person really playing above his averages in the first series. So I hear a lot of people saying, why can't they pad it up and do a lot of different stuff like that? And that's just fans being fans.
Yeah,
but I think
fair.
the Cavs shouldn't have put that out there.
No.
And
They screwed
said
up the
that,
messaging.
man.
You're right.
Yeah, 100%.
Jared Allen, that guy, if he could play, he'd be playing.
He
It's
played
that
in,
simple.
He played in every back-to-back. This
Yeah, I
season.
mean, come
Right,
on.
right.
That
He
guy
played
loves
he
playing
played-
basketball.
He played a back-to-back on the road in Utah and Portland. Like, you think, oh, now all of a sudden you don't want to play?
The guy must be in excruciating pain not to be playing. So that's ridiculous.
I heard it legitimately hurts to breathe.
Yeah.